Hi, I'm going to take us through an installation of a Hello World application through Docker and linking it to a Python app, all on the LinuxOne Community Cloud. So let's get started. There are a few steps that I'm assuming that you've already taken. So the first one is that you've downloaded and installed Putty from putty.org and that you have signed up for the LinuxOne Community Cloud. If you haven't, just remember that you need a cell phone number so that you can receive an SMS authentication code. So I'm going to start by logging into my LinuxOne account. So going in here and africa.com/cloud. Oh, why are you giving me trouble? Oh. Africa LLC. Oh, LCC. Sorry. That's why there's a problem. And there we go. So, first thing, make sure you've got that. So, just going to log in. Helps if you also log in with the correct password. Okay. If you want to make sure that you've got an easy to remember password, and if it's just when you've started up, you can go to your password management and change it over there. I'm not going to change my password. Okay. Then after that, we're going to go to manage SSH keys. And here we're going to create a new key. I'm just going to call it demo. So create a new key pair, and it's going to give me a file, a .pem file, and I'm going to save it. Make sure you do too. Then life is good. Now go off to your instances, or you can get there, or you can get via infrastructure. Either of those are going to give you there. When you start up, you're going to have a 0 total going, and you're going to see your quota is 0 of 1. Once again, you're going to go create. Stick to a general purpose VM. Instance name, I'm just going to call it demo. Linking Hello World Python app with Docker. Okay. Keep it slash. Bigger is better. Link it to the key pair that you created and click create. Okay, this is going to take a few moments to spawn. While that's going on, I'm going to go off and find Putty. So when you find it, mine shows that Putty Gen already in my apps because I've used it a couple of times. Yours might not. So you can right click. Click on open file location, and there you will see your Putty Gen. You want to open Putty Gen and you want to load your key. So this is the key that you just found. Now saved. So it's not a private Putty key yet, so it's not a .ppk. So you want to change it to all files. You can then find your key. Go demo.pm. Go open. It's going to give you a message. I'm just going to change the comment to LinuxOne. I'm going to set a passphrase. Make sure that the passphrase that you set here is easy for you to type and remember. We're going to use it a lot in the coming sets. Change to SSH1 and press save private key. And now I'm saving mine as demo again, and it's going to save as a PPK. Can keep it all sorted over there. You can close PuttyGen at this stage. Okay, now you can see this is still spawning, but now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open Putty so long. And for this session, I'm just going to clear that for now. I'm going to go SSH, going to browse down to auth, and there, the private file to use for authentication, browse, put that PuttyChem in. Okay, just go back up to settings, and here you still need to just wait a little bit for how long it's going to spawn. Okay, so now I've got an IP address over there. So I'm going to pop it in over here, 165.165.31.67. I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to save it as LinuxOne again. Save, and I'm going to go ahead and press open. Now, going to get a warning because this is the first time I'm connecting to it. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. It's going to give me a message. Login as, and you can see that this username over there, this LinuxOne, is the same as that over there. Now press enter, and it says what's that private key that you just created in Putty. So life's good over here. Now here you don't need to do this step necessarily, but I had a few issues when I didn't. So go ahead and just change directory. So that's cd ... and then you'll be in your home, and then change again over there. I am honestly not sure what that does on the back end. I'm not an expert when it comes to mainframes, but it does seem to do something. I don't know if that's to do with it being a cloud mainframe. I don't know if it's a Linux behavior. Just, I found that doing this made a lot of sense. Okay, now I'm gonna go make directory. So mkdir space p. This p says if there's not a parent directory that I want, create the parent directory. If the parent directory is already created, it's not going to throw any errors. So here you can do it by doing tmp test. However, once again, I found some problems when I did this in one step. So I'm going to go just make directory temp. Now to see that it was created, I'm going to go ls. And you can see over here, this highlighted green is temp. So I'm going to go cd tmp, which is going to take me in here. And when I do ls for listing, there's only going to be a config file. Now I want to make the directory again. And your shortcut key is to press your upper arrow, and then it will show you your previous commands. So here, and I'm going to go ahead and type test. There we go. I'll go ls. Can see that I've got a test directory as well. Now, all good. Going to exit those two. You can actually also now, when you go your ls, you can see that you've got just bin over there. Okay, I'm not sure why it's just showing the bin. Oh, okay, I think because it didn't go all the way out into the home. I think that tilde might be the portion that's causing something on the back end of the mainframe to throw that temper tantrum. And I'd just rather go for the least resistance. Now, what you want to do is you want to go and download the Docker files. And of course, I have cleared my iCache, so I don't have this over here. So I'm going to have this really long URL to type. Drive, folders. Okay. You can just click the hyperlink in the instructions that I will put it down in the comments. TZT 9 D7B K1 S85 PM. Actually, I know where I can find. No, I can't. I deleted that file. Yeah, I have to do it the old-fashioned way. OELU, and I probably don't need to say USP equals sharing, but I would rather type everything. Not found. So what did I miss out? I'm just going to quickly pause the recording so I can log in and get that. Okay, so resuming the recording, I'm just going to paste the URL, which is the much easier way of doing it. And now you're in a folder that I'll have linked to in the comments. Just going to take a while to add. You'll see there's a subfolder called instructions, and from there you can download the instructions that I'm giving you over here. Just going to go back up to Docker, and these are the 3 files that you want to download. So to download, you just click download all over there, and it will be zipped and unzipped. You can go ahead and unzip it. I already have them on my computer, so I'm not going to stop with that. So then I am going to open my Windows command prompt. So that's, you just press your window and go over there. Just need to close that. So CMD, and off we go. Now, don't change anything over here. You want to stay in as the user. Now, here, this is where the fact that you've installed Putty comes in. So here you're going to do some commands to transfer. So it's PSCP space -I space, and then you put your path to your Docker files. So for example, for me, the path is users Trisha documents Docker, and then you put in your key, so demo.ppk, then you do another space, then you do the same thing, path again, C drive, users, Trisha, documents, Docker, app.py, and then you do a space and go LinuxOne at your Linux IP. So here you can see that I quickly pointed at Putty in the background, and that was so I could see that IP address over there. So mine's 165.165.1.1.67, and then your slashes now are backwards instead of forwards. So you've got forward slashes in the Windows portion and backslashes in the Linux portion. TMP test. and it's going to ask me for my passphrase. So this is the Putty passphrase, the one that I told you to make sure you could remember and tip and type frequently. You can see there it's done that. Now, this is not a compulsory step, but it is one that I recommend. So here, going back into your LinuxOne, change directory, cd temp, cd test. Okay, I'm now there. I want to just do ls and see that the transfer has taken place. Yay, it has. Life is good. Okay, so now I want to change again. So I'm going to put the Docker file now, but instead of typing that entire command again, I'm just going to press my up arrow, and using my horizontal arrows, I'm going to navigate across, and here I'm going to type dockerfile and do it like this. It's going to ask me for my passphrase again. Do this. Does that. Should be good. Just going to check that it did transfer by going ls in my Putty terminal. Yep, I can see app.py and dockerfile. Okay, now I want to put the requirements. So once again, instead of typing the whole thing, just using the up arrow and navigating across. And now this is requirements.txt. So requirements.txt. There we go. It's going to ask for my passphrase. You'll notice that when you type your passphrase, it doesn't show any indication. And that's just the way the command prompt shows the level of security. It is a bit of a pain, but you get used to it. Okay, and now looking at my Putty, I can see that I've got all three of those. So life's good. Now I can close the Windows command prompt. Now, this one, you want to go back up into the home directories again. So you go cd and cd again, cd ... to make sure. Then this is connecting LinuxOne to Docker. So here, your first thing that you want to do is say sudo, then you go usermod, then you say LinuxOne, so that's the mod that you in, then -g docker. And if everything goes well, you shouldn't get anything underneath that. Life's good. Now you want to exit Putty again. You can either use your closing thing, or you can just type exit. There you go. Now you want to start Putty up again. So that's the equivalent of restarting. And see the Linux one that I saved over there. Log in as, and you'll see that here I didn't get a security warning because I'd saved it and I'd said that yes, you can accept that certificate. Okay, password again. Okay, life's good. Now cd ... cd ... and now you want to go into your temp test directory. You can do it like this occasionally. Other times it throws you that error, so just go cd tmp and cd test. As I said, I'm not a mainframe expert. I assume there are things on the background. You can just do ls. You'll see that we've still got those 3 files that we wanted. Now we are in the path where we want to get to. Now this is where we start building. Now we want to use sudo again, which just tells the Linux installation to act as though we're the root user. So we're going to go sudo docker build -t friendly hello dot. Do not forget the dot and put a space over that. So it's a space before and after the dot. And this is going to take a little while. And it's just going to give some steps while it's doing things. So you can see there's some commands going on. If you're familiar with Docker and builds, you can see there was pulls complete. Now you can see there's things, all of this. And now step 7 of 7, there we go. And your last line is successfully tagged friendly hello latest. There we go. Now we've built it. Now we want to run it. So we go sudo docker again, because it's a Docker command, run p 4000 for the port URL, port 80, and friendly hello. Space, and press enter. And now you've got a success message right at the bottom running on HTTP, and it's going to show 000 port 80. That's just to show that. Now, moment of truth is the testing. So we're going to go back to the browser, go into our URL, which is 131.67. Okay, and port 4000. And if everything goes according to plan, you will see hello world hostname. Your hostname is going to be different. It's going to depend, and it's going to say visits cannot connect to Redis, counter disabled, because that's through the steps. And there you go. You have connected an app that was written in Python. So if you were interested in going in and seeing the code, you could go to where they were in your folder. I've just got mine over here. Okay, app. I just want to tell it to use Notepad++, which is nice and free. Okay, and you can have a look, and it says from Flask import Flask. This is one of the lovely things about Python. From Redis import Redis error, import OS, import the socket, comment, and it says Redis host equals database zeros, whole bunch of this, app Flask name, app root, and it says define hello, try visits equals there, except if there's an error. Well, there's the error, and there you get the cannot connect to Redis counter is disabled. Unfortunately, there is some invalid HTML with the I tags, which you really shouldn't use. It's so deprecated, but we'll forgive. And then HTML equals h3 hello friend name. I don't think there was a name argument passed at all. Nope, there wasn't. Host name is that, visits is that, return HTML format, name, world, hostname, get hostname, visits, and an if statement. And there it says that it needs to run on port 80 as well. So you should have got the same thing if you had went 1080. That should also give, okay, no, I see that gives an error. I have no idea why. But yeah, so that's how you go. If you just go to your URL, which will depend, and you get that, and there you go. And it says hello world, your host name, and your counter disabled. I want to give a special thanks to Phila Dlamini from the LinuxOne Community Development. She provided all of these files, and she ran the workshop at Jozihub, which is a lovely co-working and innovation space in Joburg at 44 on Stanley, and got all of this information to me that allowed me to carry on and take this. So big ups to her. And yeah, there you go.